There it goes. What's up, guys? What is up? Sorry about this little delay we're having, and I kind of had some login issues, but we finally made it, and it's not showing up on my Facebook. But guys, if you don't know, I'm Colin Burnett.
And I'm normally. That's right, Colin. We have a heck of an episode lined up tonight. But first, we got to take care of some business. Let's talk about one of our sponsors for tonight's episode. This episode is brought to you by Firefly Outdoor and Marine, the number one navigation lights on the water. What separates Firefly from all the rest? You know what? First, let's talk about their globe, a high quality, innovative, infracting plastic exclusive to Firefly, reducing glare by over 95%, cutting eye blindness that you receive with other typical LED lights, giving you the perception as if you are fishing under a full moon. They're offered in a camo, a diamond, and a flake series, as well as now a junior diamond series for smaller applications. Also, check out their all new shore stacker box, making nighttime bank fishing more enjoyable. Plus, coming soon, their new TEP series and my Mizu foul weather bibs and jackets. You know what? Be seen with Firefly Outdoor and Marine. Guys, you have to check them out. Go to www.fireflymarine.com. But when you do, don't forget, make sure you use our discount code DECKTALK10. Once again, go to their website, fireflymarine.com. And don't forget, when you get on there at checkout, make sure you use our discount code DECKTALK10 for instant savings. Guys, that's right, Colin. We have a heck of a show lined up for tonight. But if you don't know, look at the right hand side of our screen because we have two Nebraska Cornhusker legends. I'm talking about kayak legends sitting there facing us right now. Guys, they have been hammering some smallmouth up in their area. They also fish the kayak series. I guess it's a Bassmaster kayak series. But anyway, guys, I want to introduce you right now. And this is actually the second time we're having them on the show as well. They've been on once before. But anyway, Jen and Dustin Mues, Cornhuskers, are good Cornhusker friends from Nebraska. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
We're doing good. Go Big Red.
That's right.
Anchor
Always a
down.
Husker.
Anchor down. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, right.
So, what? I've been seeing some big old smallmouths that y'all have been posting, and I've been talking to y'all here the past couple of weeks, and y'all been telling me that y'all are the only ones that are catching. But people are asking, like, where in the world are y'all catching these smallmouths? And
In
so,
the lake. Yep, in the water.
In the lake.
That's where we catch the
That's it.
in the water.
That's a typical fisherman answer. Come on.
About 8 foot of water. Does that make it better? About 8 foot of water. That's where they're fighting.
About 8
Yeah.
foot of
They're
water in the mouth.
move up to the spawn.
In the mouth, right?
yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Well,
You guys,
I just-
we have to be top secret because we live in such a small area. If you notice, like all of Dustin and I's fish are like we've started to kind of put some more, but during competition time, we're always taking fish like our photos up high so that nobody sees where we're fishing for that month until the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you was just trying to let us see if you had any boogers in your nose or something like that. With how
I mean, help a girl out.
Oh, no.
Either that or
do
do what a lot of the guys do nowadays is they just try to color out the background and just show the silhouette of them and the fish so you don't kind of get a visual on where you're fishing at.
Dustin puts pretty cool stuff on his. He like takes the full background off and puts really dumb stuff.
I'll be in the pyramids of Egypt and all that stuff. I'll be fishing in some other country, and people are like, "Where are you catching that at?"
Oh yeah.
No, but it is kind of how it is, when you are a tournament fisher. I mean, I've done the same thing. I research lakes. If we have a big tournament somewhere, you follow YouTube videos. That's what everybody does. Or you
Yeah.
the other people to fish that lake, and you're trying to break down, okay, whereabouts to catch, about how far, what depth they're at. You do a lot of research, and that's why you got to kind of keep hush hush, because I mean a lot of ours are a month long tournaments, so if we're doing the monthly challenge for KBF, then you don't want a bunch of people getting in your spot, knowing where you're going to and where you're catching fish on, and you just kind of keep it secret for a while, because everything changes. The fish are biting on something different. It's never the same. So I mean, as long as we keep it secret until the end of the month, then we're fine.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You guys
Well,
had an ad. We had a guy just this last trip. No joke. Usually we always everybody jokes around and and talks smack about the kayakers, and we always get it. It's always the opposite for us. But we are around, like, let's call it like a jetty style. There's rocks all around. The boat dock's right behind. Um, I decide to fish all of that riprap, all this right here, and there's a guy that's fishing an area on the corner. Um, I never know really what you're supposed to do when I'm headed a direction. Do you stop? Do you turn around? Whatever.
you throw at
Um,
them.
oh, geez, you guys saw all my fish. We were hammering
Yeah,
the
they
fish.
weren't, from what I've seen, they weren't catching any fish.
I never saw him catch
Getting ready to get in the
catch a
water
thing.
and all that. Nobody was catching any fish, and where Jen was at,
Immediately, the guy starts talking smack about me fishing there because I'm hammering him. It was such a good day for me. It was one of the best days for me for smallmouth bass fishing. I've had a couple better days than that with largemouth, but never with
Smallmouth.
smallmouth bass. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a really good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, that guy tried to roll Dustin. He put the hammer. Well,
what happened? I went to a different spot. I'm like, all right, we're kayak fishing, and this is what having a kayak's all about. It's like you can go your own way. It's like, all right, she already went that way. I'm going the opposite way. I'll go find the other riprap, which that the riprap I was fishing is where the big ones usually come up to and spawn. And it was getting close to pre-spawn. I'm like, I'm gonna go check it out. Well, I didn't catch anything over there. I'm like, all right, the water temperature's still too cold. Let's head back over where it was warmer, and that's where Jen was at. And then all of a sudden, I get to the point by the boat ramp, and I hook into a 17 and a half inch small.
Oh man.
All right, this is great. This is just what I need for the tournament. And I'm sitting there getting in the net. And here comes this boat, which is the boat that she saw that she didn't know anything about. What direction to go. And I hear them talk. They're like, "Yeah, he's got one." And I'm like,
well, I had a fish,
okay.
you guys, and I couldn't get.
Yeah.
I forgot my pliers. I had my look. I was a dunce cap. I thought I forgot my pliers, but they were behind me, like in the back. I only saw the ring, and I'm like, crap! I took it off. So I had treble hooks on, and I couldn't get my hooks were just down too far. Even if I stuck my finger in there, I was like, and these smallmouth are nuts. Like you just don't want to do that. So I was actually gonna ask the two guys because I was in a predicament. I'm like, maybe they'll let me use their pliers, right? I start heading towards their boat. The guy is mad, pulls his motor up, and is like, "See ya," because I have a fish. Dustin's hooked up, and these guys have probably been there all morning and they didn't have any fish. So I'm sure we were just anyway. We're on that jetty, and that guy.
He dropped his buddy off to go to his truck, and then he whipped around.
Oh,
and it's a
man.
no wake zone. We're right there on the rocks.
We're on the rocks.
On the riprap.
Oh, it was bad.
And we're fishing. We have fish in the net. We're trying to get measurements.
We both have big
measure 'em all.
fish, 17-inch fish on
Yeah.
our.
And he took off and made a wake. I ain't kidding you. It
We're
was
talking
a
like-
5-foot roller.
It was a
It was
hot
him
Ah.
spinning
He
around.
was mad. He was an old man.
And I'm like, oh crap! I had to turn my motor on full speed, and I had to
I
outrun the
told
wake
Dustin,
just so
Dustin
I can
didn't
get turned
see it.
around.
Dustin didn't see it at first. I'm like, get off the rocks! I'm like, get off the rocks!
I saw it. And
You don't
I
want to
hauled
fall in.
that. I hauled that. If I would have stayed sideways, that wave
Oh, it would've
big enough,
flipped you.
It would have rolled.
You don't want to fall in right now. It's cold. We're just at 50 degrees right
Yeah,
now.
water temperature is right at 50 degrees.
We're at 64.
Man.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
You should
you're a
have thrown some
spawn.
Yeah. And
That's top water time. That's what
You got bedded bass right now, don't you?
yeah,
Pretty sad.
well, I talked to a buddy of mine. Well, they say the magic number is right at 60 degrees. I've seen it to where they've started at like 56.
Me
but I've
too.
That's
also
where the
That's
good
where
ones.
it's here.
I've also seen it to where they don't start until like 67,
April.
almost 70 degrees.
Yeah.
But but I haven't been able to get out. Well, one, we've been running around all over the country here the past 2 to 3 weeks,
Right.
and then my lower unit, and so I just now got it back, and so I was loading up the boat before this, and I got to go out tomorrow. So
I hit the lake for about half an hour yesterday, and a little bit of a quick story to that. I didn't think it was going to be quite as cold as it was. The wife went with
it
me.
wasn't cold.
Yeah, oh, bull crap. This Florida boy, it was cold. But
I think it's cold too when you get by the water. It's like it seems so much colder when you're
I
on the water.
yeah, but I got some new prototype baits by one of our partners, Bruiser Baits, that I just got in my hands, and I was actually going to go out and try to do some filming for the prototype baits, which are not released to the public yet, but they will be soon. But we got out there. My wife went with me, got the camera equipment set up, and hit the lake. And needless to say, never cranked the motor up. Fished for about 20 minutes around the basin where we launched the boat. And I looked back at my wife, and she was balled up like a hermit crab in the passenger seat next to the driver's seat. Didn't even move. So I'm like, nah, we're just gonna put this thing on the trailer. And if the boys from Bruiser Baits watching, I'll get out there probably next week and try to do that video I planned on doing tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit warmer. But the spawning fish. Getting back to your point with the spawning fish, I done a little lucking. One of the areas I was in where we launched typically holds some spawning fish, and I looked around and I didn't see any. So, but typically, and Colin knows a little bit more than I do on this because he's been from this area a heck of a lot longer than I have. But typically around the end of April, am I correct, Colin?
No,
No,
end of
elaborate
March
or
to
or
end of May.
end of March to end of May.
Yeah, they have three. It's like three different swings that they have. First will come in, and it's usually right around 60 degrees is that first swing, and then the second swing will come up and set up, and then they just three swings of spawning fish, and it
Yeah.
usually lasts till the end of May.
So there's probably already been a wave of spawners already, correct?
Um, I
Getting ready
had
to.
they're fixing to because I had a
Yeah.
couple of buddies tell me that they've been out and they haven't been able to see any up, and so that kind of tells me that they're getting ready to. And but I mean, because we've had the warmer days earlier. Like I mean, we've been almost
Has
90
been
degrees down here,
oh wow.
and um,
Seems like it's
so
going to be 80.
yeah.
It wasn't 90 degrees yesterday.
No, well, he said, and I'll tell you this, guys. Norman says it's cold, and yesterday was like 52
It's
degrees,
cold.
and
Well, that's
that's
cold if you're used to
That's
warmer
cold.
weather.
That's cold.
and but I've been telling him for 3.5 years and to that he needs to go and just buy some good winter clothes. And instead of buying winter clothes, he wants to look like the Michelin Man and have 30 shirts on and about 12 pairs of pants. And so he looks like me when it's wintertime. So,
I'll tell
Uh,
you what, you know what? I freeze all the time, and once I finally bought like thermal, like really good, cold weather gear,
we got something
and
that
we
y'all
we
need to.
cut firewood all the time, so I have to stay warm. So
Yeah. Well, Firefly, they have that when Norman done the commercial and he was talking about the Tep suit and the Mizu suits. The Tep
yeah,
suit is like a oh goodness, what's it called? It's a neoprene suit. It's like a wetsuit
it's
looking type
yeah, it's
deal,
gonna be like a light wetsuit.
but it has 8 layers in it, and it can be we we talked to Chad, and he had it out in 18-degree weather. He was out fishing and was sitting or standing there just with the Mizu suit on, and then the foul or the rain gear, the tep suit or the tep suit and the Mizu suit on,
He's just stupid.
and he took that uh, the tep suit and done like this to his, and steam just rolled up, and
Oh
everybody
no.
else was like freezing. And he said that he's like, I was just comfortable as all
Yeah,
get out. And he's like, I actually was a little hot. And so,
yeah.
uh,
The Tep suit and the Misa suit, I believe, is set, and it could change, but I believe it's set to be released sometime in August,
well,
September.
it's already out.
Yeah,
It's,
it's already out,
but
but
he, he had the person that or the company that was making it was, was having issues with shipping, and it got caught out in California for about 2.5 months, and so he had to switch companies, and now it's a
yeah,
local, or I guess you say it's a it's
yeah,
it's the company's in the United States, so
yeah,
the
Nice.
shipping on it is going to be a lot easier to be taken care of. But
exactly.
we'll have to try to get y'all hooked up with a pair or a set of that.
Heck
That's
So,
yeah.
awesome, man. That's
but
good to hear. I mean, it's just always cold, but the one thing about the cold weather, you want to get used to it because most of the time your bigger fish, the ones that everybody's always wanting to target, those don't wait until the second or third phase to go spawn. They're
no,
usually your first ones.
yeah,
They'll be up early. They're going to hit your secondary points and all that. They're going to find some cover when those temperatures get up to that 70
Right.
degrees, 80 degrees, and things are warming up. They're moving up, feeding, getting ready to spawn. They're warming themselves, and then they'll go back to those secondary points and just hang out until it's time. And that's
yeah,
that's your biggest fish. And that's when you want to be out early March and April.
I feel like before we were missing it.
Yeah,
Like we were waiting for it to warm up. We're like, we'll wait for it to get a little warmer. And we were waiting to not just fish, I think our tournaments were starting in April and
that was
we,
March. We always we
March,
always
that's
we
right.
always skip March, and then we do April, and we
But
never
we really
really.
enjoyed it until May.
Yeah, it was May. May's when we really
Hammer down.
go
We're
yeah,
out
like,
every
May
day, every
is
other
our
day.
day.
We're going fishing all the time to where, I mean, and all the bass are biting. You're catching anything,
right,
18s and 20s down to 12s.
But we
I
catch
mean,
some big
everything was
fish
biting
around here,
then.
believe it or
yeah,
not. Even though there's, about 4 months out of the year that it's frozen or, cold or cooler,
right,
we still catch some loopers around here. There's not a lot of places where we're at, but I feel like we've got some old bass and we know where they're at. We know where to target them anyway.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, did Dustin have to show you where they're at, or did you figure them out?
She figured out the smallmouth before I did.
Oh
She
man,
did.
well
What is up with that?
She found the warmer water. That's what she found.
yeah,
You know what, guys? I had a gentleman hire me a long time ago as a scout, and that meant I had to learn how to read maps, do things. I didn't have any of that equipment. I was a kayak angler. I mean, you guys, we started out with you guys remember that, it's still something I think that goes around, but what was that bobber that we cast?
The eye bobber.
Man, I worked for an eye bobber for a job one time. I was like, yes, let me have that.
And to be honest with you, that was the thing worked. We took it ice fishing, and you could sit in the ice hole, and I mean, you
He
could see
said it
fish.
worked. I was like,
No, it
no
did. It really did
way.
work. But on a kayak and things like that, I mean, if you wanted to know what a spot was, see what was over there, it worked.
We used it. We really
But
did use
I
it.
mean, your regular electronics are just a game changer versus that.
yeah,
But in the mix, that little eye bobber did a lot.
We
It really
casted
did.
it way out there and let it stand out there. I mean,
It worked great for shore fishing. If
it
you
was.
wanted to see if anything was out there, you just cast it out and just slowly reel it in,
I mean,
and it'll show
yeah.
you.
That was
you want
forward facing sonar before forward facing sonar.
to.
So,
As long
I,
as you tagged that it made the episode, we are in business.
Do you guys ever do
now,
any? Do you guys ever do any ice fishing though? Speaking
Oh
of
We
ice,
yeah,
do.
you do.
Yeah, well, I think we only went
Crazy.
once or twice
once or
this
twice
time.
this year just because
Oh,
the ice conditions, it took a while to get the cold air to get really thick ice.
We were actually working
Yeah, and it
and
just,
like slaying the day away, and we
yeah,
should have went fishing
we should
instead.
have. We should have went fishing more. We went out a couple times. We caught some fish, but nothing really big, just some bluegill and stuff. But
I'm
Yeah.
content with that. Like, but they were catching some blonkers. I mean, there's some big fish in these lakes. Especially, you would think it was slow and kind of, boring, but it's not. Like the bite's pretty good. Do you guys ice fish anywhere? Have you done it?
heck
No.
no! You're
He's
making me
cold at 52 degrees.
you're
Can
making
you
me cold just
imagine?
talking about ice fishing. Uh,
Last year we had like 18 inches of ice. Like it gets really thick. I don't even like have a lot of the good equipment. I am such a simple person that I was like, oh no, I don't even drill the holes anymore. We go out. I wait for everybody to leave their hole, and I'll just go. I don't even care.
do you guys
I get.
do you
I
guys
don't even drill the holes anymore.
do you fish in a shanty? One of those ice
They
shanties?
fish out of the kayak. Remember, they're kayak fishermen.
I,
we never have one of the huts. We just grin and bear it and go out in the
You
ice.
guys, we went out one time at like 30 below. Do you
Oh,
remember
that
we
was
did
that was
that?
cold. No.
I have a
We
question for you.
tried. We got it. We might have did one of those 20-minute excursions like you did, Norm. We were like,
Yeah,
okay, we messed up. We're leaving.
I
I,
did
I have
find out if you want to be warm though, if you manually drill your hole with a hand auger, you will be sweating no matter what temperature it is.
I,
It'll be 30 below zero, and you'll be digging that hole, and you will start sweating. But the
I,
instant you stop, you're
This,
cold.
yeah.
You guys, we had a guy this last time. He came with the exact. I bought an old.
It was $5 at some garage sale. The person
I bought it
selling
off for sale, McCook, for $5. I was like, Dustin, bring it home.
it.
He's like,
oh man,
okay.
I have a question for
He
you
brought it
though.
all the way home. He literally. I can't tell you how many holes he drilled, but I saw this little boy coming the other day while we were fishing this last ice
He
trip that
he
we.
just kept drilling and drilling
No,
and
I
drilling
saved his
and
life.
drilling.
I was like, sir, let
You
me
can
just
use
tell
ours.
you,
Come use
I'm
ours.
gonna come get ours. We knew what was wrong because Dustin had done the same thing. He sharpened the blade so sharp, like it was dull as shit. Like that thing was not going to work. And we didn't know that there was rules like you can't already cut into an already cut hole.
Yeah, you never drill a hole that's already been there. It's
It's
better off
better to drill
drilling a new
a
hole.
fresh hole.
Yeah,
Okay. There's all these rules. We don't know that. I mean, I saved that guy's life now. I was
Yeah.
like, man,
Well, we just end up
you know,
saying, you know what? Just
I'm
come
like,
over here and fish all these holes.
we'll
that
give
are
you a
already open.
hole. That'll
Don't worry
take
about
you
it.
an hour, bro. Just use this hole.
I have a quick question for you though, and remember, you're talking about somebody that's real dumb when it comes to ice fishing, and probably never gonna ice fish in my life because it is cold. But yeah, I see videos and stuff like that of the guys ice fishing in shanties. But I've seen video of guys ice fishing in shanties, and they build a fire to keep them warm
Yeah.
on the. Let me ask you a question now. I might be a dumb. Uh, I don't want to call myself a redneck, but a country boy from Florida. But when I went to school, fire and ice don't quite mix, and you're sitting out, you're sitting on top of a lake. Now you're going to build a fire on top of the lake to keep warm.
Bro,
Uh,
you got 18 inches before you're
Yeah.
about to die. You be all right.
I'm like,
Guys,
I,
you gotta
I
think
see in videos of this, and I'm like, aren't you going to melt the ice and typically end up falling through?
Nope.
Man, they have
Nope,
so
it
many
won't.
cool things now. They have carriages to put your ice in. They have heaters. A lot of that isn't even fire. I mean, you can do that fire stuff. I've seen where they're opening. Some guy just takes a chainsaw and opens up a whole square, and you fish that whole
Yep.
square, and the fish are going to be there because there's sometimes the snow covers it up and it's dark, and they all come to the light.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you have a hut, I mean, it's pretty much sealed in. You can build up snow or ice around the edges so the wind don't get through, and you put a heater inside there. You're in t-shirts and shorts because
I
it's
take my
that warm
socks and
inside
shoes
there.
off even when we
I could
ice
go
fish.
ice fishing if I could do that and have a heater in an ice shanty. I'd be right there with you guys.
Oh yeah,
You don't just do it though. Like you really need to have some knowledge. You should have some safety tools. I'm kind of a nerd herder, and I wear my life vests the first few times
you're
we
supposed
went.
to. You gotta wear something.
It's terrifying to me every time. It's a huge dopamine rush because it is terrifying. The sounds, it never gets any different for me. The worst is when you get clear ice. It's so thick, it's clear, and you see down, and you're just like, oh no. I don't know. It creeps you out. You
I
see stuff that looks safe, and it's not, and I
Then
don't
you
know.
see four wheelers and gators going across
Oh,
the
don't
lake
drive
on the
by me!
ice.
Don't drive by me,
And you're
please!
like,
No,
well, it's thick enough for them to drive on it. I'm going to be fine. I'm just going to walk and not even pay attention.
no,
right.
it's not okay. And you do need proper shoes. Like, unless you want to kill yourself, you're gonna get some cleats on because it is slicker than slick. Like you can't.
You're
You know,
walking
the
on
first
ice.
time that we went out there, you guys, we were so dumb. We didn't have any of that.
We were newbies.
We just went ahead and tried it. Now, I mean, we had no fear at first. Our first experience was a little crazy. A helicopter flew over, and the sound from the ice, and it was like, oh, it was eerie. It sounded like you were straight apocalypse, like you're about to die. I was already terrified anyway because the sound of the ice sounds like it stings,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
cracks
When
and
it
moans
expands
and
and all
groans.
that, you can just
Oh,
hear it
Wow.
popping.
Yeah, I've seen where people like hit golf balls onto the frozen lakes and stuff like that, and that just sounds cool. And you just hear it keep on. But
oh yeah, it's
dude,
cool until you realize how it really is not safe. I've seen they had to save a whole slew of people. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago.
Where the ice broke off of
A
the
whole chunk, and they
chunk.
all went in the water
Wow.
wow,
Yeah, they're just out floating in the lake because it broke off of the main ice chunk, and
because
they're floating out in the lake on a chunk of ice, and they had to get
Wow.
rescued because they
they
couldn't
had to
make
be
it back.
rescued. Yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
they have new outfits though, you guys. They if you do fall in, just like you were talking about some of these cool new suits that they have. You fall in, these suits are designed to implode and keep you
Yeah, they make
floating.
it float. You
Yeah,
fall
Yeah.
they
in, it won't float.
had. There was a company that had the suits that floated, and they had a mannequin in there in like a tub that was just floating. And
Yeah.
I told Norman, I was like, I don't know if that thing really works or not. I mean, because that mannequin's just filling nothing but air. So I said, put somebody that's in about 180 pounds in that sucker and let's see what it
Or
does. But y'all talked about the smallmouth and stuff. Do y'all have like a size limit up there for smallmouth?
oh yeah, I mean if you're going to keep them, which we never keep, we're always catch, photo, and release. But if you keep them, there is a size limit to keep them. But for our tournaments, I mean, most of the time we have to, have a 12-inch bass for our tournaments, so they got to be 12 inches or bigger.
Right.
And all of those, everything we were catching, we didn't catch any small ones besides maybe a couple little smallmouth.
I feel like
The
my small ones
largemouth,
were largemouth, and they
yeah,
did bite small. They were
yeah.
largemouth.
Yeah.
And then we think we caught a different species we never caught before, and we caught some meanmouth, which would
Oh
be
yeah. Y'all showed
uh,
or y'all sent me the pictures of that, and that sucker was pretty cool.
yeah,
So
And
I've never seen one. She looked it up online. I mean, they just look different. They were a largemouth
it
pattern,
had a
but
short
their
face
mouth
though.
looked like a smallmouth bass. Their mouth wasn't big like a largemouth would be,
yeah,
and the markings were different. It's
They
like,
looked
it's
they
just got to
looked
be a
like
largemouth.
they looked like
She
an
looked it up.
oval, like
Yeah,
an oval instead. They weren't built right.
that they're a totally
right.
different looking fish, and I think that's what they were was meanmouth compared
Hunchbacks.
to her
They looked
picture.
weird. They
Yeah.
looked crazy.
Well, see, because when we were talking about it, uh, we have them that will what we will call mean mouse are from like smallmouth and spotted bass,
Normally,
and
yeah.
and those are the meanest fish that you could catch. I mean, the best fighting fish in freshwater that up here that you can catch. And
I just want to use the torque on my rod with those. What was a 17-inch thing? I don't know. They're about 17.
About 15 and a half, 16 and a half inch.
yeah,
Supposedly meanmouth. I mean, we really don't know if that's actually what they are. Just from pictures, that's what they look like. But the ones we
yeah,
caught,
Oh, I'm certain that's what it
they
is.
fight. They fought harder than a smallmouth and a
yeah,
largemouth together.
I've
It was
never heard.
crazy how
Yeah,
hard they
that's
were
nuts.
fighting. We
yeah,
thought we were, catching a 20-inch smallmouth just by the way they're fighting. I'm like,
yeah.
man, this fish is a strong fish. It's like, get the net out, and they come up the water. You're like, well, that's not
15
that
wasn't
big.
that big. I know.
Yeah.
Right.
We both fished the monthly, and oh man, I really screwed up this time. I didn't get my fish in on time, I waited till the last minute, and then this year I used to use the online part where I just went online and uploaded my fish, and
Right.
it wouldn't let me do that, and I didn't realize until it was too late.
Oh wow.
Oh
She
man.
ended up downloading the app, and finally it worked where she can start putting her
I
fish in
tried
and submit
everything,
them, and
old
ran
phone,
out of time.
old address, still wouldn't let me upload. I was just panicking. So it cost me big time. It withdrew one of my fish because even though I should have fought it because it shut it off. Like it shut off a minute before.
I think so.
It shut off a
From
minute
what my
before.
phone said early.
That is
Anyway,
crazy. See,
it
because
cost me.
why I asked is because y'all, when y'all said like 17-inch smallmouths, which that's a good smallmouth here, like for us to keep a smallmouth even in a tournament, even though we're going to release it, it has to be 18 inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
And
that's the
Wow.
difference with kayaks and fishing tournament out of a bass boat, where you
yeah,
actually have to possess 5 fish in a bass tournament. If you're not fishing one of the like the Bass Pro Tour style type of tournaments where
Right.
it's catch and release, white catch and release. But in a bass boat, you actually have to possess 5 fish. So if you possess 5 smallmouth, they have to be 18 inches. Where like with what you guys do with a kayak, you basically take a picture, take a measurement, put them back. So it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
But yeah,
yeah,
an 18-inch smallmouth here is like a. I mean,
three and a
that's a,
half
that's that's a
pounders.
that's a big smallmouth.
Yeah, and
Right.
so,
No,
but
and we
in
have
our
them. We have them bigger. It's
yeah,
just a matter of them
Oh
moving
yeah,
up and catching them. I mean, they're there, but
yeah,
they're like a needle in a haystack. Once you find one of them, and then you'll catch them, and then
yeah.
yeah.
you got to sort through
Well,
all
you
the
got to
small
go
ones.
through all the yeah, all the small ones to get to it.
Yep.
What
The
we
cool thing
need,
about the smallmouth, I feel like, is if you catch one and you miss it, you 9 times out of 10, you can recatch the fish. Now, bass, they're not like that.
mm,
But
Largemouth.
largemouth, yeah, they're not like that. I feel like you hook a largemouth and they're like, hell no.
Yep.
And smallmouth, they're like, oh yeah, you want to play? Wham! And they go ahead and bite again for
yeah,
you. But it could be a different fish too. But I've always felt like I've had the same fish come back and get my bait.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. We do y'all have the Bubba scale?
No,
We don't know. What do we have?
I just have the Rapala scale. Just I have
Uh,
a bag and catch something that's close to this. I
well,
really don't
what
care much.
we need to try to see if we can get one to y'all because with here, I got it right here. With the Bubba scale, it is um, it's Bluetooth, right? So and it goes to an app, right? And
Right.
so we could put a tournament on and have y'all, if y'all had a Bubba scale, to where y'all can weigh and it puts it in on the app. So we could be in Tennessee, y'all can be in Nebraska, and we could fish
Right.
against each other.
Yeah.
And
That'd be kind of
so,
cool.
yeah.
It's kind of the same, similar to what we used to have.
But
Yeah, with
yep.
English. Huh.
But it
So
didn't wait.
y'all just because do y'all use that Tourney X?
Yep. Yep. We use Tourney X. Yep. There's two different formats. There's Tourney X for some of the tournaments that we do, depending on who the tournament director is and what platform they want to use. And there's Fishing Chaos is the other one. So
Right.
there's two platforms we use for doing that for
I
different
don't even know.
tournaments.
Maybe
So
it's
So, um, I've used that Tourney X just in like practice and stuff to where because I was trying to a buddy and I were trying to do a tournament like a tournament series here locally to where we could have boaters and kayakers in, and that's the only way that we could justify being able to have kayakers involved was to be able to just measure.
right.
And so, but
And they do have that. There's a lot of places that are kind of going to that, catch and then measure it and then release it versus,
yeah,
bringing them in and weighing them. You can weigh them, and the thing is with weighing, you got to have video evidence to make sure that they're weighing them right. You're
right.
not adding anything to them, and
You're
because I
not
mean,
putting weights in them, huh?
yeah, you're not putting the lead weights down them and
You're
getting extra weight.
you're not
That's the
winning
so
reason.
then.
crazy.
So, but what is besides like in Nebraska, where is your favorite places that y'all have gone to fish at?
Oh man,
Gunnersville.
I love Gunnersville. Gunnersville was great. Big old lily pads. That was fun.
That
That was
was
a really
beautiful.
fun tournament.
I love just the fishery itself was one of my favorite places. Lake Almanar was
Yeah,
gorgeous.
Almanar was awesome in California when we were there. I mean, I didn't
Gosh.
get a fish at she did, but I would go back there. We got a buddy, Mark Pilgrim. He said, "Come out, I'll take you out."
We'll
He's a
definitely go
guide
back
up
for
there,
like a
and he
vacation.
catches he
Yeah.
catches monster smallmouth, and he's an epic
Man,
fisherman. Another place. I mean, I like Kentucky Lake. I mean, it was probably better years ago before all the Asian carp, but it's
yeah,
coming
back
back.
in the '90s, it
Yeah,
was killer.
Yeah,
yeah.
it started
Now,
to come
I mean,
back.
it's coming back.
Yeah.
It is coming back. It's as long as they keep this Asian carp
Yeah,
under control. I think they're going to have a great fishery again. I mean, they're starting
Yeah,
to catch
well,
some big
yeah,
smallmouth and stuff. So
it
they're there. And I
about
caught. Go ahead.
it about ruined Kentucky Lake.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think they
yeah.
killed off all that grass though, and that made it even worse. I mean, I think that's a lot of problem here. A lot of people are trying to kill the invasive grasses and stuff, and it's just not.
Yeah.
I'm talking more like Florida, but still, I feel like it really damaged the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just
and I think all around the everybody that we've talked to from all over the United States, in some way or another, is having issues with people or like with whoever's managing the lake or the river systems is killing off the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That,
every time you guys know as well as I do, the only time we're catching is when you start pulling up some of that grass in your bait. The fish
Yeah,
are always there.
yeah,
They're there because that's where the feed is.
Yeah.
and another place that
That's
we
shoot.
went to was Candlewood.
Oh,
We
that's a
went there
great
candle.
place.
yeah, Candlewood up in Connecticut. And we
Huh.
went there to help a fishing camp. It was called Camp Candlewood.
You guys got to check that
Yeah,
out.
it's a really cool place. They have kids that come out. They're wanting to learn how to fish. Some of them know how to fish, but they're taken out every day with guides.
And
They have
whereabouts
games
is
and
that?
Nice.
stuff through the day and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But it's a 501c3 place, and they invited us out to help with the kayak division. They
It was
got
a
some
blast.
kayaks. So we took kids out, and I mean it's really hard because it's such a big lake, and there's of course the wake boats, which is it's so hard to fish with a wake boat, and
And
this
where?
place is on-stop wake boats. So I mean, it
yeah,
was hard finding an area to take these kids and get to a place because you only had so many hours to fish before you
right.
had to come back in for dinner and all that.
Yeah.
So
Where's
I
that
mean, they
lake
found
at?
some places.
Connecticut.
It,
Oh,
yeah,
Connecticut.
it's in Connecticut. It's
Okay.
called Candlewood, and they
It's
catch
Camp
some
Candlewood North.
monster smallmouth and largemouth. And they
Man,
take these kids out. I mean, they'll take 2 or 3 kids per boat out in the bass boat, take them out, and they have competition. Whoever catches the biggest
We
fish, they
had
get
so
the
much fun.
trophy.
Yeah.
And they camp out every night. We
We
eat.
cooked.
They,
We
yeah, we
cooked for
cook.
them.
Yeah,
We
it
we
was a blast. It
we
really
all took
was.
turns, just like a regular camp. Everybody had their name up in the squares.
Yeah.
We did bass tournaments in the
yeah.
daytime. Big Fish got like
And they
a
had a trophy.
trophy.
Yep.
You got camp shirts. You had chores. Like
Excuse me.
it not only we used at that time they were using an old Girl Scout camp and with these wooden cabinets and that you stayed in
No
cots.
electricity, hardly. Then when
It
when
was
things
hot,
got
you guys.
good,
We went in August. It was hotter
yeah, it
than
was hot.
hot. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. We had I think 50 kids or 25.
25 or 30.
I can't remember, but some of these kids are less fortunate, have never, would never see things like
Right.
this. They're from the
Yeah.
New York area, never been out in grass, let alone fishing, let alone being at the
Yeah.
lake. So we
Yeah.
still keep in contact with the little kids. They're not little anymore.
That's
They're
Yeah,
all
awesome.
they're all
now
grown up.
taller than we are.
Well, I don't
Um,
take much for you.
oh, you either. I don't know to talk. Gosh. Yeah, I told you God stops when you're perfect. You just took a little longer, son.
So,
Oh,
next thing is like around here, like we support our local bait shops and stuff like that, and in which we actually got uh, one of the owners, Kim from Jack's Bait and Tackle, is the one that we primarily use and fishtails. Um, so, is there like a local bait shop that y'all around y'all that y'all use, or do y'all have to go to a big chain store?
We don't have much for bait and tackle shops around here. I mean,
We're
they're hit and miss. There's a few of them in some certain areas, but by the time you get there, if we're getting off the water and go there, they're closed.
Right.
But most of the time, it's just Walmart or online. That's about the only
we
place.
really do live in such a small
Yeah,
community. There's only a community. We're from a town of 300.
yeah.
There's
Well,
there's
that
there's
just
enough.
sounds like that's a good business opportunity for you, then, Jen.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could possibly do something like that, but we don't want to be tied down. Like we're like, see ya, we're leaving, we want to go fishing. No. No. Right now we are doing a lot of the marketing. We've picked up some fishermen out west. I'm gonna do a major league fisherman for now. We're still probably gonna fish the Bassmaster Series, probably fish KBF, um, just because it's local and it's affordable for us. We're probably fishing. We signed up for the Sticks in Nebraska, so it's a local tournament. And really, my job is just to continue to provide content for y'all. I don't think it needs to be, I'm damn right I'm gonna win, but I mean, even if I don't, we're gonna show off some big fish and keep the content coming for all of everybody. I think we need to work on, Dustin and I started talking a little bit, maybe more myself, but about us doing our own 501c3 and, turning that into something to, if we don't do something like that, maybe do our own guide business. I mean, right now we're marketing and that's fine and it's fun, but I'd rather be out there guiding and doing a few other things,
Being
you know.
outside rather than inside.
You can tell we're all, I mean, we always feel like we're being punished when we have to be inside, but
Yeah.
we're at a stage where at least we get to go. Our daughter's graduating. We didn't get to attend a lot of the events. We're just gonna try really hard to go to ICAST. I hope you guys get to go down there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'm not missing ICAST. I wasn't able to go to these last two events, so I'm gonna try really, really hard to make sure we hit up ICAST because it's one of our favorite events. All of our friends go to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we
There's a
love
lot of
Florida. I
business there.
wish it was not in the July in Florida. Um, but it's still a blast. And I mean, I guess I'll just wear my hair up. It's so hot there for me. You can tell we're from Nebraska. That is just
It's a
it's
whole
like
different kind of
swamp
heat.
land down there, swamp ass.
Yeah, we were kind of disappointed when we couldn't see you at the classic, but all
Oh,
the circumstances we understood it. But it ended up being it worked out for y'all because if y'all would have came, y'all would have
oh,
been snowed out instead of
Yeah,
being
we
snowed
would have been
in.
in trouble.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're right, and it would have taken us honestly 4 or 5 days extra. No kidding, because
yeah,
nobody could get anywhere.
yeah. The
Yeah.
roads were that bad.
I
I
was
mean, just a
thankful at that
blizzard in
point.
the
I'm
middle of
like, the
nowhere.
good Lord loves me. That's right.
Mhm.
Everything for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but when y'all called and we were talking, you're like, I, I just don't think we're going to be able to make it, and I mean, we were sad because we were wanting to be able to spend some time with y'all and go out to eat and stuff like that.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
it well,
It's all
Norm and
right. Do over in July. Do
yeah,
over in July.
we'll definitely have to do a redo it over in at
ICAST is
ICAST.
like 10. ICAST is like 10 classics. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, we definitely have to go and grab a bite to eat in
absolutely.
Oh,
Orlando.
we're going to the parties afterward, Norm. You better get your party hat on.
No,
It, what do you mean? It's already
I'm ready.
on.
I'm ready.
So we I was talking to my buddy John that went to the classic with us, and I told him about the ICAST being in Orlando. Well, his wife is from Orlando, and
Oh, wow.
he's like, when is that again? And so I told him, he's like, I might be able to sneak in a
Yes.
family do like a family vacation, just drop the kids off at the and just leave the wife and the kids at the in-laws, and I was like, you do what you got to do.
Absolutely. Yes, you don't
So,
want to miss.
but
ICAST is something you don't want to miss.
no,
We
and
have
then
fun there. We actually enjoy that.
we but if that all happens to where it has y'all and my buddy John and myself and Norman go out to eat, I don't know if Norman could handle that.
Don't know.
We'll try to be on our best behavior.
We might end up getting thrown in jail and take us an extra 2 or 3 days to get home.
Right, right.
Lying. Everybody thinks we're so ornery because we're so outgoing. We are not that outgoing. Unless I still have to be the smart one. I'm not even a drinker. I don't ever usually do the drinking, but
Depends.
I don't need alcohol to be fun.
Sometimes you do.
I do sometimes. I do sometimes, and it's never. I'm already wild and crazy without alcohol, so you don't give me any.
So, are y'all going to do any
Well,
fishing? If y'all, when y'all go down there, y'all going to do fishing again?
Probably it'd be something to look forward to at least in
I'm
trying.
ta-
I mean, there's a lot of people that invited us ever since we showed pictures of peacock bass and all that. They're like, oh, you guys got to hit us up when you get down here. We'll take
Heck
you out. I'm like,
yeah.
all right. At least,
Yep.
and then we might be more comfortable because they have kayaks. I'd rather be in my kayak. I'm more comfortable in a kayak.
Right. And
I
that's
felt like we just
you'll
didn't
be
even.
you'll
I
be
felt like our hands were like
you'll be
broken.
face level with. You go down to the Everglades, you'll be face level with the gators.
That's
Yep.
fine. That's fine. I'll just hit them with a paddle.
yeah. I will again. I'll just say that they will eat peacocks. That's all I'm going to say. And
I
because
saw your video. You remember you sent it to me, and I saw that.
so
They'll eat anything.
Did you guys see that massive night fish that somebody caught down that same area?
no,
It was a double-digit one.
Oh, it was. You guys got to go look for
real.
it. It's.
I'll have to
I
look
think
that
the
up.
record 13 pounds.
Really.
Yeah.
It was a big one.
I figured that it'd be bigger than that because they are they're I guess they are real skinny, but they are fairly long though, aren't they?
Yeah.
You guys.
It's amazing an aquarium fish will get that big.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's all they are is an aquarium fish.
They were weird. I didn't even know how to hold one. I was kind of creeped out. It was like a
backwards.
snakish.
It was weird. It really was weird. But they could jump too. They were acrobats.
I'd go back. I just don't want to go at that time of year. It's
Yeah.
miserable outside.
Yeah. Well,
Like take me in the fall or in the spring. Like, ew.
well, last year before we went is a couple days before I cast. Norman sends me a video because we already had it planned that was going to go to the Everglades and stuff like that and do some peacock fishing. He sends me a video of this gator like pulling this dude into the water.
It
Not
wasn't.
good.
It
No, it
wasn't
was a shark. It was a shark, wasn't it?
It was a shark.
Yeah, a shark pulled this, and he says the title on the video that he sent me says, "You ready to go to the Glades now?" And I was like, "Nope."
Guy had a guy had a peacock on. A guy had a peacock on, and he reached down to. He was going to basically lip the peacock. I don't think he had a net. He was actually going to grab the peacock, and when he done, and it was a real video too. It wasn't a made up video. A shark, I don't know how big it was, probably about 6, 7, 8 foot shark came up and grabbed. I don't know if he ever grabbed his hand, but it actually pulled the guy in, and it showed the whole video shows his buddy that's in the boat pulling him back in the boat, and then the video ended. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to catch a shark. I really want to catch a shark in a kayak, just to say I caught one. It's like a bucket list thing, but I don't want something coming up and trying to grab the fish that I caught, not knowing.
But you're down to the Everglades. Of course, the Everglades is connected in several different ways to the Atlantic and the Gulf via several different type of waterways. But you never would expect anything like that to happen in the Everglades where you're catching bass. But you got to think about it. Anything that could get through locks, could get through any waterway that's connected to the ocean back into the glades. If they could live in brackish water, they could survive. I don't know for how long a shark could survive, but like a people catch tarpon in Lake Okeechobee. Tarpon is a saltwater fish. There's
Yep.
snook. There's snook in Lake Okeechobee caught on a
That's
regular
what
basis.
we need. That's where I want to go next. I want to go
Yeah.
catch some of those. On top of, we went, where was that other place I was going to talk about? Oh, I keep watching. I know some people down from the Las Huesos where you can go and do all of the um, fishing in the Gulf down there, or
That,
in Las Huesos.
Los Huesos.
Yeah,
yeah, is that
I'm
um
look it
that's
up.
in Louisiana, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, it's on the coast of, I can't remember. I think Georgia, on the coast of Georgia. Let me
On the
look.
Atlantic side?
I want to go here. This is where you're going to catch massive, man, there's all kinds of species. It's all saltwater, but it's on Facebook. I want you to look it up.
We
Adam
I
Lee.
wanna go and catch some big reds though.
Me
Them
too.
bull reds. But I'd like to
Did
see
it
y'all
down at
get on,
Corpus Christi.
huh?
They do that down there at Corpus Christi or the Gulf of Alabama.
Yeah. Um, I'd like to see a video of y'all catching a tarpon in a kayak. That'd be
Heck
something.
yeah.
That would be fun.
I saw a YouTube video of a guy in a tarpon course. He knew what he was doing. Of course, he caught and he actually had GoPros going on his kayak, and he actually got underwater footage when he got the shark right close to the kayak. But it was like a 12-foot great white. Caught it in a
Oh my.
kayak, and by the time the video end, he had to actually call a buddy of his to come out with the boat as a chase boat that wasn't with him, but he had called a buddy to put his boat in and come. He sent him coordinates on where he was at the time, but this shark drug him. I think they said through, on the coast, off the coast, the shark drug him. I think they said 4 cities before the fight ended, and
Wow.
he actually got the shark close enough at one point where he put the GoPro down and got underwater footage of this 12-foot shark, like 7 foot from the kayak, is the closest he got him.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it
That's
was
when you have
insane.
a knife and just.
The video,
That's
it
what
was
I'm.
like about an hour YouTube video. It should be still on YouTube. I've watched it one time when I
I
first
think I've
seen it,
seen it too.
but yeah,
Well,
Anyway,
video, huh?
Los Buesos, Panama is what I was talking about, where you catch big
uh,
giant marlin from your kayak.
Oh wow.
oh man, that'd be crazy. I know
Yeah.
because the last time
Go
I
look at
went,
their cover image.
their cover image.
Yeah, like on Los Buesos, Panama.
Uh, the last time that I went out and we were catching like red snapper and stuff like that. I ended up the water is out in Destin, and the water was just like you could see probably about 60 feet deep. And I pulled, you could start seeing the red, and I pulled it out. They had like they sunk a ship, and you could see it coming out of the shipwreck. And then the next thing you know, it's just it's gone. You don't see the color, and then the line just starts taking off.
Oh shit.
And that I caught a bull shark, and the guys one of the guys that I was with, he was like, I just want to catch a shark. I've never caught a shark. I want to catch a shark and just see how it fights. Well, after about 45 minutes, I was like, here you go. And he fought it for about 45 minutes. We passed it to the other dude that was with us. We went through twice and then finally got it up to the boat. And when I asked, I knew what the answer was, but I asked the captain, I was like, do you think this bull shark realizes that it's hung? And he was like, nope. It pulled us by the time we got done. It pulled us a mile and a half, uh, like out to sea, and uh, then once we got it up, like we as closest that we got was probably about 12 feet from the boat, and once we got it up and it turned it to where it's like towards the side and it seen the boat, it just went whoop, and there goes the leader line and everything. And then he looks at me, he says, now he knows he was
Yeah.
hooked.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, but they said it was about 300 pound
Yeah.
bull shark. And
That's
so,
Finally seen some of them get a little aggressive with the kayakers. They didn't really used to do that. Now I'm starting to see. I don't know if I'm such a wussy. All my videos are coming up like all the great white sharks are jumping on boats and all kinds of shit right now. So I'm like,
well, we
hey.
yeah we met somebody at ICAST last year, and they were from South Africa. It's Maddie Schwimmer, and I think his wife was Randy, I think.
Awesome
But
people.
they were in the Yak Attack booth, and they were chewing it up with us, talking. They're buying some products and things like that. And he started, I started following his social media and all that stuff. And he says that when you go out, the waters are so shark infested. You'll go out to catch all these fish, and 90% of the time you're going to get taxed. They're going to eat your catch. And he says you got to be quick, and they have these
You have to
the
like fight them
kayaks.
off.
The kayaks are not very wide. I mean, I don't know how they can even stay up in them, but they have a hatch in the middle, and as soon as they catch it, they get that fish up with the grappling hook, and then they throw it in the hatch. So they got all that blood, so all these sharks are constantly patrolling around.
oh man,
The last video I saw that somebody was down in South Africa, he was catching a fish. He had two fish on, so he was reeling the one in. He got it hooked, and just as soon as he got it hooked and getting ready to pull it in, a shark bashed the side of his kayak trying to get that fish.
wow,
Wow.
And he almost went over. He let the fish go, and you saw his grappling hook floating with the fish on it. And that shark went after it, jumped out of the water, and grabbed on to his catch. And
Man.
he's
Send me
like,
that's
"Well,
more.
crazy.
that one's
Oh, there
gone."
goes your arm,
Yeah.
Jen. See ya. That's
Say ya.
And he's like, that's just the thing. He's like, if you go out and you're in shark infested waters, you may not come back. That's
Yeah.
just the risk you take.
Oh, it's
I'm
so
like,
different
no, I'm
there.
not going to do that kind of shark
Mm-mm.
fishing.
I
It's really
kind of
different. It is.
I got two stories. One of them happened to me, and the other one was I heard on the New Heights podcast with the Kelsey brothers. And Jason Kelsey and his wife had went to like Hawaii or something like that, and they were just out like on a paddle board or something like that, and in this bay, and they said there was people everywhere, and then he sees a shark and he paddles right back and he's yelling shark and he paddles right by his wife, and his wife's just sitting there and not even paying much attention to what's going on. And he gets on to the bank and he looks back and still sees her out in the water, and he's out asking her like, what are you doing? She's like, why'd you go in? And he's like, I was yelling shark. I mean, what else do you need? And she's like, you just gonna leave me there? He says, I gave you a warning.
That's true. I mean, if a guy's going paddling by you saying shark,
Yep.
you should probably
I'm
listen.
already creeped out by what's underneath me in my regular freshwater. So I still have these. I get my fish. I do my own stuff, but I still have this delusional thought process of what in the hell's
Jaws
underneath
is still
me.
going to come up and get you.
I
Yeah.
think what honestly what ruined
In
it for me.
Nebraska.
We had a paddle boat, you guys, and we took it to a pond. I'm telling you, to this day, we have never seen the carp that were coming up underneath the boat. They were spawning. They were the largest. They were so fat, like you see on TV, where they have like fat rolls and a fat double chin. And I don't know if, but the water was so clear. My kids were terrified by the time that it was over. They were just like, "We're not fishing
Well,
anymore."
the carp just kept coming. Like our kids are really small in the back, and I mean, it's crystal clear water.
They
You
were
can see them
knocking
from.
Yeah.
us off our
They,
fish.
yeah, they were coming up to the paddle boat and hitting the paddle boat. And it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Why would carp, like just regular old carp, common carp,
Huge
come up
nuggets,
and be
you guys.
hitting a
Huge
paddle
nuggets.
boat in the
Were
middle of
they
the
Like the
pond?
time you
were they
see
spawning?
what's
Yeah,
that?
they were
Were they,
spawning.
yeah,
Yeah.
because think about it. Even though carp's not really a meat eater, carp protects their bed just like a bass would protect their bed. When you sight fish for a bass, they're just trying to get that bait away from the bed. Probably the carp's doing the same thing, thinking you're a big predator coming in to eat their
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
could have
eat
been.
their
I mean,
extra
they
bed.
were
Well, we were
huge.
in a paddle boat, all
You
four of us, and getting like
when,
walloped by all these carp, and we're like, what the hell?
When
I mean,
carp,
I think ever since we were kids, I've always been like terrified of what the hell's underneath of us.
yeah,
Yeah,
when carp's bedding, I've actually went out in bedding areas where carp was bedding, just basically throwing rattle traps, catching carp in the mouth all day long, because
Yeah, we know we
they're
catch them
they're
in the
eating.
mouth too.
Yeah, they're eating the bait to protect their beds. Not that they're going to eat the bait on a normal day
basis.
when they're
Yeah.
not But yeah,
Right.
Well,
I guess I never even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
speaking of carp, we went to Norman and I and my dad. No, it was just Norman and myself that went that day to a buddy of mine's pond. He's got
oh yeah,
16 acres and he's probably got a acre and a half pond. And I've put some pretty big bass into his pond and stuff. Um, Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but he's got some good sized bass in there. But he put when he bought it, I guess probably about 5 years ago, he put grass carp into his pond. And the last time Norman and I went, Norman hooked one, and he was like, "Hey, this is like that 10 pound bass or something like that. It's a monster." He fought that thing for an hour and a half, and finally got it, and up to where we could see it. And Norman's like, "If this is a bass, this sucker's massive." And I seen it kind of swirl, and I said, "It's a carp." And but then when we got it up, that carp, like, Norman held it up above his head, and the tail was still dragging the was on the ground.
after about
And
20
that's
minutes
what
of
I
the
feel
fight, I
too.
kind of knew it wasn't a bass just because the way it was fighting. But I also caught it on 10-pound test fluorocarbon. I was throwing a lipless. Was it? I think I was throwing a
Yeah,
lipless crankbait,
yeah, lipless crankbait.
and it was on 12 or 10-pound fluorocarbon. So I told after about 20 minutes of the fight, I kind of had an idea it wasn't a bass, but I told Colin. Colin agreed with me. I told Colin, I said, I'm gonna play this thing out because after fighting it for 20 minutes, I didn't want to break off. So I
Right.
played it out, and yeah, literally, like Colin said, it took probably about an hour and a half to finally boat it because we're on the bank too. We weren't on a boat. So it was like you're kind of pulling him up. You're kind of at his level when you're fighting this fish. So but it was a fun fight. I will say that we actually have it on the whole thing on video too. If you go to our YouTube channel, so you can check that fish catch out. But it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's it. No,
So
I
what?
love the catch on that bait.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it wore my
we
ass
didn't.
out.
Yeah, he. I thought it was going to pull him in at one point in time, and so
No, no.
I
what
was
it.
tired when we caught the red snapper. My arms were burning up, but I got lucky and caught a rare one while we were down in Texas. It was even shaped different, but it was red, but it was like longer and skinnier.
Hmm,
Yeah.
one of the mean mouse snappers.
Now you just making shit up.
So what has been y'all's favorite like fishing like story that y'all got like done and gone, like what has been, it don't have to be like the biggest fish or just a time that y'all just really enjoyed yourself out on the water.
Man.
Y'all are out there all the time, so I know y'all got quite a few of them, but
I'll
or
tell you something. I won't steal his story. I'll start it, and he's being a nerd and can't remember.
I don't know. All the stories are good.
I mean,
No, no.
or you
Wait,
could be
Dustin.
legit fishermen and just make something up. I mean, we don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
Yeah,
Not a made up story. This is really true.
Talk about that.
Um, one one Father's Day. Uh, of course we're going fishing. That's what Dustin wants to do. It's what I want to do too. We need to get lucky. The kids, we drug them with us, and we were fishing at a place, and the kids were able to look. We all did it so often that we just did our own thing. We went fishing.
right.
I look around, like you had to get out, go all the way around. Like it was a long, and you guys, we were paddlers at this time. We did it all with our righty and lefty, and we went for a long way away. We got our kids to do that.
We used to go 5 miles.
They would complain, and eventually they got really good and strong, just like we did, and we were able to go for miles and miles and miles. Anyway, I come around a corner, I look off into the distance, and Dustin is like out of his freaking kayak on the side of a cliff area, like a rocky cliff. And I thought he was like throwing up or sick or something at first. I was
We
like,
thought something was wrong.
I was like, oh hell, what's wrong? I get closer, and he is just like, no, this is not the day. This is for. I think the water is kind of halfway up, so he's like, there's something right here. Come look at this. And
And when I'm fishing, my dad used to look for arrowheads and all that stuff all the time, so it comes natural that I'm just looking for stuff. I'm always looking around, checking shorelines. And while I'm fishing, and 9 times out of 10, that's when you catch a fish is when you're not paying attention.
Right.
But I was sitting there on the shoreline where I was fishing. I'm like, I swore I saw some kind of teeth or something, like a jawbone or something.
Like this
I'm like,
area.
oh, this is kind of cool. This is probably like a horse or a cow bone or something. It was just something died. And I just kept fishing. And I got closer.
But large, guys.
Yeah, I got closer and closer. I'm like, man, that's a big tooth. So I was using my little pliers. Well, I think it's your pliers, but I was using the old hook remover pliers, the ones with a little handle on them. And I was sitting there scraping away because it was limestone. So I sat there and scrape a little bit, and I get rid of the stuff. And I kept looking, and I got deeper and deeper. And she came around the corner, like, you got to come look at this. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before.
He's like, this ain't no animal we got right now.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. So I dug as much as I could, and I'm like, I don't have the right tools. I used her pliers, and by the time her pliers were kind of rusty, by the time I was done, they were sparkling silver because of the limestone. I just kept digging.
You guys be there for hours. He was relentless.
I covered it back up. Like, we're going to get some tools, and we're going to come back. So we got some tools. We went back.
We had to go to Ace Hardware, didn't we?
We had to go to the hardware store. We went back, and then I was sitting there with a hammer and a chisel. And I'm going at it. I'm like, I'm going to find out what this is. And I got about half of it uncovered, and I'm looking at it. And she took pictures of it. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before. And I'm like, all right, it's getting late. We need to go home. I covered it all back up with chunks of limestone so nobody else would see it.
It takes a long time to get home. So
it was an over hour and a half drive or 2 hours to get to where we were at.
I mean, and you gotta like it's far enough that I had seen that picture. I started to take that picture.
Yeah, she took her photo and then used her phone to see what kind of fossils or things would be around the area we were at. And we got about halfway home. She's like, I found it. And I'm like, what? She's like, I found out what it was.
This is when my art skills absolutely came into play because I knew how to desaturate an image, take the transition off, slide it over another mammal, and be like, whoa, we got a match!
It was a perfect match.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm like,
it was a weird match.
I'm like, I want to get this thing, but there's rules. You're not supposed to take, fossils and things from certain areas and all this stuff because it's illegal. And I'm like, man, I wanted to.
We thought about it. We're like, is there a black market for this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do it. And I got to thinking and started weighing on my mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna call a paleontologist. We're gonna have them, let them know, see what we can do. And
we did it the right way. We were afraid that we were gonna get in trouble, and we knew we had found something spectacular.
Come to find out, I discovered a fossil of a rhino in Nebraska.
Oh, really?
Yes. They call them. It's a Teleoceras. 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 But it's a rhino that lived back in the day. I will.
Yeah.
I'll go. Anyway, it was in the sandstone, but they end up sending a team out. They invited us out, the whole family. They did pictures and everything, and we excavated the skull of it. And
so it's the whole skull?
Yes, it was a whole skull inside limestone rock. So I mean, it died, and then the limestone built around it.
This was not just any rhino. It has weird, like where there should be tusks.
Yeah, they didn't have the horn on top. They had tusks on the bottom jaw.
Really?
So, I mean, they were rhino, but they weren't.
What did you say the dinosaur name for it was again? Because that rang a bell. Because back in the day, I knew I just have that image of the dinosaur. Like I had dinosaur books and stuff as a kid, and I have the image of the name you just said in my
Yeah,
head of
it's
what.
Helioceras.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
yeah.
be confused because we were schooled too. This is
Oh,
not what you would call a dinosaur. They call it a
it's a mammal.
they
A
call it
a raposaurus or something like that. You just said right.
no, it's called a
Helioceras. It's a rhinoceros. Lived in North America during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs during the Hemingfordian to the end of the Hemphillian from around 17 and a half to 4.9 million years ago.
Wow.
Golly.
to see
Yeah.
what it looks
So what
like.
did they do with it?
What's that?
What did they do with it?
They end up taking it to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. They have
We
their own little section there where they have people that are studying to be
we have
paleontologists
a
and things.
team we have a team Mues drawer.
Yeah, they made a drawer for us. It has all the artifacts. I mean, we went back on that day to excavate it, and we ended up finding bones of three-toed horses. We found the pelvic bone of an elephant. Um, there's something else, but
We found some
all that stuff got put.
smaller critters like they said that essentially what happened was there was an earthquake a bazillion years ago, right? And
It was an earthquake, a volcano.
a volcano, excuse me, a volcano, and all that ash actually erupted and almost just cemented these creatures in the waterways.
Well, what they told us when they were excavating it is there's this place actually in Nebraska where a bunch of them, it was like a watering hole. And when the volcano erupted, all the ash asphyxiated all these animals. They couldn't breathe because of all the ash, and they just all died at this watering. They have, full body. They have pregnant rhinos. They have the three-toed horses. They're finding birds and different kinds of things that are all buried in this.
Rats, different kinds of things.
It's crazy on all the animals.
That's crazy.
But you guys, it was never supposed to be in our area or anywhere near us. It was a very different place of the state, and we opened their eyes to a lot more studies and of this particular area because you guys see
if you
it?
can see it,
Oh wow.
that's what the bones look like.
Hand it down, Daddy.
Can you imagine having that sucker come up to you when you're out camping or something?
Well, this was so many millions of years ago.
But
Show
yeah,
what
that
it looks
would've been
like
crazy.
with the head on it, with the skin. I wanted
see
you guys to see what it looks like with the skin. It's actually quite like the size of a
it.
hippopotamus,
Yeah, it almost
maybe.
looks like a hippo versus a rhino.
Right.
But
Now, all
that's
this stuff-
tripping that they were here in Nebraska. That's incredible.
Yeah. Now all
Yeah.
the stuff that you had a part of to helping discover that day, did they put all that stuff in a certain exhibit?
Yeah, it's all. We have our own special spot. There's a drawer with we.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what they look like normally. Kind of looks like a hippo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say it. Just besides just the nose part of it, it kind of does look like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first whenever I saw the skull,
He found this
I'm
part.
like, I think this is like a triceratops because it had this big thing on the top back of
Has
its
a
head.
weird
And I'm
crown.
like, I found a triceratops. Is what I thought it was, but it ended up being a rhino.
Yeah.
But still pretty cool. I mean, to find something like that while you're kayak fishing. I mean, how many people have went by that spot, fished by that spot?
You
and
guys, it
never
was
noticed?
only the only thing Dustin saw
What's the teeth?
was the side of the mouth right here.
Just their bottom.
That's
And the
crazy.
water was up on it. Like the next day we went, the water had dropped just a tiny bit. He's like, I knew it.
Yeah. We just had a
And then by
call.
the time I got done digging, my fingerprints were gone because of the sandstone and brushing it
You guys,
off.
the excavation was so much fun. We did a plaster of Paris cast, and it was so hot, 100 and some degrees. It was hot in the middle of June. Anyway, the paleontologist and his buddy, the guy that came, we all jumped off the back of the boat went swimming because it was so hot.
Oh, it was 100 degrees.
Oh, we were all French fried. We were burnt to a crisp because it took us. They didn't expect it to be the excavation to take that long either, but it was all casted. It was all limestone,
Yeah, it was all in limestone.
rock. Yeah.
Well, we have a comment from Jerry Brousseau. He says, let's see. I'll put it up right there. It says I just got on and I had to do a double take because
You
I
thought it was that
had
Jurassic Park
that
channel.
he was on the wrong channel. He said, "Were we on Jurassic Park?"
I
Oh, Jurassic Kayak Park.
Yeah,
know, right?
that's
Yep.
crazy. Norman, I asked that question because I thought we was going to get a cool fish story, and then I didn't know that we was going to get some. So I mean, they didn't even say nothing about a fish. It was all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were fishing. I was fishing when I found it. I was actually catching fish too. So I mean, we're
Well,
catching smallmouth and stuff.
we also
So
want
I
to give
mean,
a shout out to Kim from Jack's Bait and Tackle. We're talking to about Kim a little bit earlier on in the show, and Kim commented just
Yeah,
said, "Hey guys," so shout out to Kim also. Kim usually watches every week when she can. So hey Kim, if you're still tuned in.
yeah. So, other than that, what did y'all have y'all got qualified for the kayak nationals? What?
We will try to qualify for the
yeah,
2025. They're actually doing the 2024 right now
yeah, it's currently going on in Gunnersville right now.
today.
We couldn't make it for that one because of vehicle issues and things like that.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a Bassmaster Classic. It's just everything is
We
happening
are
for a reason.
also
Where
really kind of holding off because Miss Dalen is
yeah,
graduating, and we really need to put
yeah,
forth all the effort there. Trust us, it's killing us. We should be there. They're catching some really good fish. They're catching fish that totally our style of fishing, so we probably would have done really well. But we know that there's always going to be fishing. We got to get Dalen graduated, take do our motherly fatherly thing, get this show on the
kick
road
them
because
out.
I mean,
trying to move out.
they know
Yeah,
come summertime that usually, our we didn't start really going full time until they were big enough to at least stay home by themselves for a few hours. But I'm also, it's oddly enough, allergic to the sun, so I've always gone in the evening from about I don't know 3-ish, 4-ish to the evening, because dumb as ever, I'm allergic to the sun. I get rash all over my body when the sun burns me. So
mm,
um, I've taken care of it, but like you'll see me and you'll be like, oh, you look like you have just rash. Well, I usually can go in, they'll give me a shot, and it goes away for about the summer or 2 shots, and I can get away with it. And that's even if I wear sunblock. Now I wear pretty much just the UPF clothing and
I
all that
think
stuff to
I
take
think
care
you
of
need
it.
to try whatever Rift mask I have on a mannequin right behind us. Need to
yeah.
try one of those Rift masks.
Yeah, I mean I would send her over. We're at a point where
There
I
you go.
also hate getting
Colin will show
hot.
you one up close and personal there.
Yeah.
Look at that. I expect you to bring that to me to the ICAST booth.
We can get them for you.
Yeah,
We
Nah. I do try to take care of myself. I'm a blonde headed person, so I have fair skin, but
yeah,
Well, and when you're out in the water, I mean,
where
on a
you get it
boat, it's
double
not quite the
amplified.
same.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, but when you're on a kayak, you're even closer to the water.
you really are.
yeah,
It's just
So
like a big
you don't have
giant
a
mirror.
boat blocking sunlight or anything like that. I mean, you're
And you're
getting direct
sitting a
rays.
lot,
Yeah.
my legs are
yeah,
always exposed. So I wear UPF 50. I try to. I'm a big, you know, serious about, I feel like all of us are going to have to be careful with, melanoma. I know it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
Well, and you're out there from sun up till 3:30 when the tournament gets over, where you got to go check in. So
yeah.
you're out in the
The
top
heat.
part of the
Yeah,
day.
And
I just deal with it.
people don't realize, yeah, people don't realize too. It's not the sun coming down from above. That you really have to worry about. It's that sun reflecting off the water coming up and hitting you in the face.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
you could actually, it's actually worse on you when you got an overcast day, but you still get that glare coming up off the water. People don't realize you could actually get sunburnt without the sun shining because of just that reflection coming up.
yeah,
Yep.
So,
The UV rays make it through the
yeah,
clouds versus the
yeah,
Well,
sunlight. That's the worst ones to get.
yeah,
Just the UV
and you
rays.
guys can see a lot of our friends. I'm seeing it all over. I'm seeing lots of people getting cancer removed from their
yeah.
ears, their head, the sides of
yeah,
their face.
I I
It's
have many
probably time to make
spots.
sure you're taking
Uh,
care of it.
And I'm like you, Jen. Fair skin, always been light complected, burn really
Yeah.
easy. And us as kids, when back in the day, we never even thought the way we think today.
I
And I
think
mean,
that's probably where it started going wrong, Norm, is we didn't take the precaution back in
no,
the day.
I
I
used
lived at
to,
the pool my whole life and I was so dark. My hair was so brown or blonde and my skin
Oh,
was so brown. And I mean, we lived at the pool at the lake.
yeah,
Yep.
I didn't even wear sunblock.
yeah.
Sunblock, what?
Summertime,
But
Yep.
now
summertime.
my skin pays for it now.
Yeah, fishing tournaments in the summertime in Florida. July and August. I wouldn't wear have any precautions taken. I come back after a tournament, I would be freaking beat red. I mean, and it would take. I mean, I couldn't even touch my face, and now I'm starting to really pay for it. I got a lot of spots all over me that it's scary, but hey, we're outdoorsmen. But you get to thinking if we would have only took better precautions when we were younger, if we'd be dealing with the stuff we're dealing today with our skin.
Yeah.
Yep. Always cover up now, even though
Yep.
the damage has already been done.
We've
It
been
still
trying to
pays
do
to
better
stay
at it
covered.
because we see a
Yeah.
lot of our friends really coming
Yeah.
down, and we spend a lot of time out there. We know it's probably a matter of time that, something. Dustin, gosh, back in the day, guys, he was so brown. His teeth were like bright white, gleamed, like, hey, because we
Yeah.
were so brown.
Yes, I wore shorts and flip flops, and that's
We
all
didn't
I'd
even, he
wear.
That
didn't
was
wear,
it.
he was so black, like, oh. So we try to take better care of our skin. You can tell we're getting into that age where, all of our bodies are changing. We're getting into, you can just tell. But I think that, man, I wouldn't give it up for the world. I've been trying to just cover it up more. I'd rather sweat than be burnt to crisp. But
Yeah.
I don't know. They're coming
Well,
up with some new products, which is nice. A little bit
yeah.
lighter weight clothing, and I like that. I mean, you guys, you still have to wear, and we every picture you have ugly hand tans. It looks
Yep.
terrible.
Hands
Like,
are tan, the
You
rest of
should
your
say
body
my
looks
Choco
good.
tan line.
oh,
Oh,
I
I saw your
guarantee it.
Choco tan line. You put a
yeah,
picture last year.
yeah.
That was on your Facebook or something. You had your Chacos
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Dustin's glasses in the summer. He has
Yep, I got the
perma
permanent
lenses.
sunglasses.
Yeah. So we
Now,
do try. I've got big honking lips. You always gotta take care of your skin because you can tell we're just getting to a season in our life, and I feel like all of us fishermen really need to take that part seriously.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say like my mom's dad, he's passed though, but he uh like the last 10 years of his life, he died and he was in his 80s. But the last 10 years, like he was constantly having to go in and get like stuff
But
taken, like cancer spots taken out and stuff like that. Jerry says we all get raccoon eyes.
Oh
I
yeah,
know,
So,
right?
so
that's part of fishing. If you don't
no,
have them, that means you haven't fished long enough.
no,
I'm blind. I hate wearing sunglasses. It's so terrible. I've been trying to make myself wear them more often, but I would prefer not to. But again, I was going out more towards the evening where the wasn't so bright.
yeah. But I can't go out on the lake without having sunglasses on. I mean,
Oh, we can't have
especially
that.
because I like to look. I do a little bit more, or I do a lot more sight fishing what Norman does, um, and so I mean you got to have good sunglasses to be able to do some sight fishing and stuff. But I do want to talk real quick. I mean, because we've had you almost an hour and a half, but I don't want to hold y'all. I know y'all are hungry, but I want to talk a little bit about y'all's kayaks. Matt Dillon said, "Hello, Team Mues and Deck Talk." So, what's up, brother?
What's up, Matt?
I knew you'd be here, bro.
so, but I want to talk like, how do y'all have y'all's kayaks set up? Because we don't have kayaks or anything like that, so we don't know like what is a good setup for to somebody to have if they're wanting to get into kayak fishing.
Well, I think I'll go first. We have a couple of our setups are a little different, not a lot.
Same kayaks, just different setup.
We both have the SS 127 from Bonafide, which is the sit stand, 12'7", 127. We have upgraded ours, I would call it. When
We motorized them.
we did, instead of getting a new wedding ring, I got a motor for my kayak instead at
That
our
was the
20th.
anniversary. That was the
That was
anniversary.
our my 20th anniversary gift. So
Either get a ring or you get a motor for your kayak. And she chose the best thing, a motor for a kayak.
he was tired of pulling me around because he had a motor before I did. He's spoiled. His mama got him started, and he'd gotten his, and he pulled me around for a while. But there's rules, and you can't compete like that. So eventually, we saved enough, and instead of getting a new 20-year anniversary ring, I traded it for a Motor Guide XI3. So he has the
Yeah, I
Torpedo.
have a Torpedo 403 on mine, and she has the Motor Guide XI3, which Motor Guide goes on the front of hers, and she has the remote, of course, so she controls it with the remote. She can be off of it, just like you see the people in the boats. You can take your kayak, you can be on your boat ramp, and you can make your kayak go out, park it while you go run your vehicle, where you can come back and call your kayak back to you.
I
Right.
reverse
So
in and
yeah,
hop off, and then drive
yep.
it out so it's out of the way.
And
Yeah.
mine's hooked to the back of my kayak, so it's different. So mine has foot pedal steering. So I have foot pedals on mine that you can loosen them and you can control the direction of your motor, so you can turn and go whatever
Right.
direction you need.
I like stand up
Yep.
though. I use my remote. I use
Yep.
my assist. That way we can go straight. Mine can hook up to my GPS and just fish the same pattern you fished the day before.
Oh, cool.
Um, I have went. I never read the directions. I tried it. I was at a tournament. It was a national championship. I tried it, and I remember like going, 4 or 5 mile an hour and accidentally pushing the anchor button and like whipping back and turning around, and I was like, oh shit. Like
Don't
I
do
had
that
no
again.
idea. I was afraid that we were gonna fall into the gator water. So
What
I mean
what
I
what's
was still terrified, but gosh dang, it changed the way we fish.
what's your electronic setup like on the kayaks?
Now we both have ours set up. She has the low rant on
7.
hers.
Yeah,
I
I
think
got
it's
like
a Hook 7, and I got a Garmin 93 SV. But our Bonafide kayaks, they have a dry pod that goes in the center. And most of the time, people will use it just to put cell phones and keys and things
the
like that in,
floats. Yeah.
just to keep them dry, just and hook to the kayak. So if you tip over, they'd be safe. But we've taken ours and made it to where that's actually our fish finder, our depth finders, and
I didn't want
we
to drill into my
right.
kayak.
And we connect them to the top. They have all the brackets through yak attack to hook it all up. And then on the inside's the battery. You run your cords in through it. The transducer's hooked to the bottom of it. So it's a matter of whenever you get done fishing for the day, you just unclip it, pull it out, and it's mobile. You take it out, you don't have
Nice.
to worry about your
Both of
fish
ours are
finders and
mobiles.
stuff.
We've got it to
Yep.
where we could have mounted it on the side like Dustin
Yeah,
said,
there's
but
other ways. I mean, mostly, but we like a lot of open space. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't want a bunch of junk in front of you. You have to
No.
work around. So you
Now,
Right.
got a net, you got your fishing rods, and then you got a fish finder, you got all that stuff.
we've got all kinds of new equipment from Yak Attack, wheels that we use. There's new wheels coming out. You could probably tell them about those new
The sand
wheels.
tire wheels and all that stuff, and it all breaks down easy. So you haul your kayak to the water, you can put it in the storage on the inside of your kayak, because we have an inside storage system for Bonafide that you can use, and that's where I usually keep my rods and stuff.
yeah.
And then you'll put your
Right.
kayak part in there when you're going out in the
Now,
water.
with fishing kayaks though today, I mean, with you put trolling motors on them, yeah, paddles to control them. You don't even need to have. Do you have bring a paddle with you, or you don't even need
Always,
paddle?
Oh, we
always,
always have to bring
because if
one.
Always
that motor goes bad or
paddle is
something happens,
backup.
you got to find a way to get back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And where do you store the paddle? Because I guess you're not using it until you really need it. So is there easy storage for it, or
There's
is
a
it just
little
like
amount.
your like that?
Yeah, they have these little roto mounts that go on the side,
Right.
and it just clips down into it, so it's easy to just
Okay.
pull up.
Okay.
But they'll clamp down in there, and it won't let it go until you pull up.
Oh,
So
you
it
guys, we
locks in.
have rod holders. We
Yep.
have gear tracks. We have the new black pack to put all of yours. Every kayak angler now can have the same black pack tackle box where it holds 6, 8, depends on what size you get. Plano boxes.
Oh,
We're
wow.
getting some new things. Oh geez, all kinds of goodies
You
too.
can pretty much take everything, including the kitchen sink, with you, like I do
Dustin
out in the
does.
water. I do.
Dustin
Mhm.
does.
I'm not going to leave any lure left behind. I take everything, because you never know that one lure might be in your tackle box
Yeah.
that everything's biting on. So you got to
Yeah.
have one. So I take it with me.
You might have somebody that forgot their pliers and come up and has a fish, and you're like,
That's right.
Please.
and then you see what bait they're having, and then it's not with you.
Oh, please.
Exactly.
Those guys left me stranded. They left me standing there. He didn't even want me to use his pliers. He was so upset that we had all those fish on the line that he just tried to blow us over with his with his wake.
You know,
That's
he
crazy.
wasn't a happy camper, that's for sure.
Oh, that's not the first time we've almost been ran over. There's always that one incident where you've had some. I will tell you that kayak fishing isn't for everybody. It really you get treated a little bit differently. They know you're not a boat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: I mean, if you're a boater, it's worth getting into a kayak just to try it out once. Go fish a
agree.
tournament with it because it teaches you that you can't drive 80 mile an hour to go to a new spot.
Right.
It makes you fish the area you're in. You do your research, your mapping. Like there should be fish here, and you actually have to fish for them, even if they're not biting. You're going to be changing lures. You're going to be trying to figure out what those fish are biting on the head.
Right.
You know they're there,
It's so
so it
different
breaks down the
anyway.
water way different. I think it makes you a better angler.
I feel like you can get so much more shallow because all those big lunkers are in that shallow. You certain time of year, I know
Yeah.
you could get boats up in there, but think about going up those creek channels and going up to those places you've never seen before.
So,
The wildlife, it's so obviously they're not going to be out there with all the big boats. They go up in those creek channels and
Yeah.
those areas that you just are off the beaten path. That is where I go. That's what I mapped for because I'm going to go find us the big lunker fish.
Yeah, when we had Iconelli on a while back, he was talking about a regular boater has no clue when you're in a kayak. You're basically eye level with the bass. So if you have like a 7 or 8 pound bass on and she comes out of the water, it's a whole different aspect
Way
of you as
yep.
an angler fighting this fish really from eye level to where that fish is to that
Yeah.
Oh, we
section
struggled,
of the
Norm.
boat.
We went with a gentleman out in California, and Dustin and I were like, we almost felt like we were handicapped trying to
Yeah,
throw
trying
the
to fish from a
bank.
boat.
We were like, I was like, shit, we're so far from the water. Like my cast was off, and I was kind of embarrassed. The guy looked at me like,
Yeah,
shit, does she know how to fish?
yeah.
I thought they
If
fished
we
a
would have
lot.
caught fish, that guy probably thought we were full of shit because my buddy, because we certainly, we just felt like we had our hands tied a little bit. I'm like, oh man, this Bill. I'm
Well, then
like,
you got to worry about somebody else on the boat. You don't want to hook them with a hook. You got to
oh,
watch where
it's
you're
so better
casting.
just going by yourself, y'all. It's fine.
Yeah. Jerry said, uh, said not a plug for the company, but as you know, I deal a lot with kids, and I tell them to wear sunscreen called Bullfrog.
Yep, that's a good
It
one.
doesn't sweat off or come off in the rain. So,
That's a good one.
Bullfrog is a good one. That's really good.
but other than that, I think Norman, let's kind of wrap this thing up and let them get to eating. My belly's growling. I got a couple little
Yep, we're
Debbie's I
coming to
need to
get
go
some
get.
Twinkies. Oh
Yeah.
wait, it's
I,
little Debbie.
I'm hungry. The wife made some tacos for lunch, and I think there's some leftover tacos up there. Or make some
I have a
leftover
taco
tacos.
salad now.
Yeah, right. But anyway, guys, it's been a blast having you guys on again, man. Always talking fishing with our two buddies, Jen and Dustin. But I guess you guys probably know the question that's coming next, and this is a question we ask to all of our guests that we have on, and you were asked it before. But if you were to have one person that you could fish with, you guys are kayak fishermen, but on a boat or in the bank, or off the bank, or however you want to take this person fishing. If he or she was passed away or still with us, who would that person be, and why would you want to fish with them for the day?
I went first last time.
Gee whiz. I feel like I remember who you said last time. Still the same.
No, I'm going to change mine. I've already said
I
my
knew he
first
was
one.
going to change his. I knew it.
Mine, okay, I'll go first. Mine, I'm just going to change it up. I'm going to take somebody they've never been before, never been in a kayak. I fished with them before a long time ago, back when we were in high school. But it'd be my best friend, Bo Buffington. He lives up by one of the lakes that we like to go to. And he's always, taking his kids out, showing pictures and stuff. I'd like to take him out and show him, how to kayak fish and maybe get him
Yeah,
hooked on it.
that
Have
sounds.
some fun and repay it forward to somebody that I know
Yeah.
that he follows everything I do, and I just like to take him out, let him experience it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Matt Dillon said, "Me Plopper,
It's
Plopper D
Robert
Proper D.
from
D.
Louisville, Kentucky."
He
And
wants to go.
We take him too. We really would. He'd have a blast with
he's saying me.
Got
uh,
big. We were telling Matt about the big striper in our area, and he is a major striper fan. Like he loves the. We have some wiper and striped bass in our area, and there's a time of month where you could just hang on
We're
for
catching
dear
master
life. They're
anglers all the
humongous.
time.
Yeah, we got to get Matt out here and get him on some striped bass. We totally let him down with the classic. We were supposed to go do that, but
all
Matt he is absolutely swarmed and enveloped into fishing. So there's plenty of time to take Matt
I
somewhere.
totally, Matt. I am sorry that I did not recognize. As soon as you said the classic, I knew who you were
Yeah,
talking about. And Matt, I actually seen you at the classic, but I was talking at a booth, and you walked by me, and I was meaning to say hi. I went to go try to find you after I got done, and I could not find you.
too late. Once
Yeah,
Matt's gone, he's off.
he was gone. So, Jerry said, "Awesome to hear the perspective from a kayak people." So,
That's right.
and so,
Jerry, you follow us, and we'll show you some of our fish
Yeah, yeah.
stories.
You'll see all of our adventures and what we do.
yeah, and it's interesting to kind of see the similarities that with how from like with y'all up there in Nebraska and then with us down here, there's similarities, but there's also a lot of difference in what y'all do. But and that's why we enjoy having you on, and we uh, we were
Might see us
able.
in a boat today. You never know. We might go and do some team fishing with people out in California. I mean, the new people that we're working for, dang good and well they're gonna try really hard to get us on a boat and get us fishing. We know how to fish. We just need the tools to get
Yep.
us there. So
Hey
I think we're gonna do
Norman,
some fun things with Major League Fishing this year. You guys stay tuned for that.
yeah,
We should tell everybody thanks for our sponsors. You should go through them before we go.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Um, he said Jerry says you have to allow me to bring Roland Martin so I can watch him fall out.
And that would happen.
Yeah. But hey Norman, you realized in this whole conversation that we've had him on an hour and 36 minutes, none of this conversation have they said anything about coming to Chattanooga and hopping on the boat with us. It's always
Yeah,
somebody
right.
somebody else,
I think we might be close to your area finally. I mean, you guys, we live so far away from you. We're right dead smack in the middle of the United States. And
Yeah.
I feel like we're just out of it. Unless we're going to take some wild, you know,
I like Tennessee. Don't get me
we
wrong.
do. He
I
keeps
That's
telling
my
just
me he
favorite
wants
place
to
to
go there.
go is Tennessee. I love Tennessee.
I'll say this. I'm 25 minutes from Chickamauga. I'm about 15, 20 minutes from Nickajack. I'm 45 minutes from Gunnersville. So
So
when
Wow.
if you ever get down this way, make sure you
yeah.
We should have been
plan
spent the night at
plan
your house and
Yeah,
save
plan,
you
plan a day that we can
yeah.
just get out on the water and have some fun. Catch smallmouth. We go to Chickamauga, catch largemouth. Go to Nickajack, and it's actually coming up pretty quick. Where you go to Nickajack and we go out and catch 100 smallmouth in a day.
Yeah.
Come come
a good
June,
day.
July. Hmm.
So but yeah,
If
Absolutely.
you
Well,
ain't bleeding, you ain't fishing, right?
that's it. Yeah. But
absolutely. If we ever do,
Will
if
you
we do
guys
make it
ever
down
make
there.
it down this way to Nebraska if you're right, passing through? I mean, the kayak game, we've got it set up now where we wouldn't even make you paddle. We'll just drag you out there. You guys can totally try them, ride them, see how they ride.
They're
You can
super
stand on
stable.
them. If Dustin can stand on it, any of y'all can
Yeah.
because
yeah.
he does.
My balance sucks. I
He's
can
always had
stand up.
crappy balance. He'd be that guy. We'd be out in the middle of the lake on the jet ski, and I'd have to drag him to shore to get him back on.
Yeah, I don't have balance, but I can stand up in my kayak. That's all I
So we
need.
definitely have a good, and these angler
Yeah.
kayaks are the way to go. But before we go, I should make a shout out to Z Pro and Yak Attack. They're our sponsors. Rogue Gear, that's our phone tethers. I also use that on my motor guide to deploy my motor. They have a long leash, it's what it's called. We also do Wicked Weight. and Golitis grubs.
I did a video recently of using Goliath grubs catching some of those smallmouths. If you watch it, I posted it up there.
Very simple. They come in packs of 25, guys. They're scented, old school, he says.
They're great.
John might be somebody you want to get on your show because he's a former Bassmaster from way back in the day, like in the 70s. So
Yeah.
cool guy. He's a mentor of mine. He's taught us a lot of skills. He's taught me a lot about jerkbait fishing. Actually gave me his entire collection of jerkbaits. I have it. It makes me kind of sobby-eyed when I talk about it. But John Galida of Galida's Grubs, and that's with a Z, Galida's Grubs. Line Cutters has always been a
Yeah.
huge fan of ours and us of them. So I hope we hook up with them at ICAST. So, get your party pants on because you guys
They
are
throw the
coming.
best party ever.
They really do.
Yeah.
One
Well,
objective, that's to the motor mounts. That's how we got Jen's motor mounted to her Bonafide. They make all those kinds of products there with one objective.
Tons of accessories for your kayak and more.
And they do boats too. They have stuff for boats too. You can use them on boats, not just kayaks.
You
Right.
guys, you and Norm have some rods in common. We also use PowerCore rods. Dustin does, and I use the Girls Fish Better series, which is the Obsession series. 3 rods. That's a 2 bait casters and 1 spinning rod.
Then we got the American Tackle. They're the ones who do the microwave guides. That's what's on the PowerCore rods, and as well as the Girls Fish Better rods. And American Tackle Company, that's one of them that they have. Those line guides that work great. They're excellent at what they're supposed to do.
On that note,
Yeah.
we also picked up casting this last. We've got some work to do for them before because eventually we'll be using I think iCast products exclusively. I'm sorry, casting products exclusively. But we still got some work to do with them yet. We picked up Hooked Outdoor TV. They're making a lot of changes to their platform. They're actually going to be Hooked Outdoors will now be
KBF TV.
KBF TV, correct.
Right.
Nice.
We also have Bonafide Fishing. That's our kayaks. That's we also use is that it? I think that's all.
You have Rock Porch.
I do have Rock Porch, and guys, that's different. That's for somebody like a creator like myself or like you, you two. It's going to be more with your affiliated link, and it's a whole separate, just like your Facebook, YouTube. It's a whole platform. But
and what's that called again?
It's called Rockport.
Rockport, like the boots?
I guess. ROCKPORCH.
Oh, okay. Porch. I thought you said like, yeah.
You said porch, PORT.
Yeah. So, Jerry says, because he asked, "Are y'all going to be at ICAST?" And I told him yes. He said we should all get together so I can shoot Hunter. Let's see.
Shoot a video with Hunter with you guys.
Yeah, have his grandson Hunter is a hammer, but he's only, I think, he's 12.
Yeah.
And so he said that to have y'all shoot a video with, and have y'all record it. And then Matt says, Deck Talk, can you get Matt Robertson on here? Matt, we are actually buddies with Matt Robertson, and when we went to the Classic, we talked to him, and the main thing that's an issue with Matt is having his schedule, but because he's constantly doing something, but he did tell us that he's wanting to come on the podcast. So Matt, we will definitely be having him on. Hopefully he's going to have more clothes on than just his underwear. So, and what we'll do, Matt, is Jen and Dustin will know when. Stop yawning.
I know. I'm sorry.
I've been up since 10 o'clock last night, so I don't want to hear anything.
You guys stayed up till about 4:30 trying to get all of my art done for today.
So, but Matt, we'll let or Jen and Dustin will know when we're going to have him on, and we'll make sure that they message you about when we're going to
Matt
have
will
him
know
on.
before all of us know. Just
Yep.
guarantee it.
So, but he said, Jen, don't forget stealth rod holders and the girls who fish better.
Oh yes, I'm not stealth rod holders. I'm Yak Attack. Matt's stealth rod holders.
Ah,
I'm all. We did pick up Yak Power.
Yes,
So
that's one
Yak
of our
Power's
newest ones.
new, brand new.
They're going to have our lights. Since we have motors, you got to have the red and green on the front. And they have the lights set up and all the electrical hookups. They got a cell phone holder that's new that charges a fast charger while it's in the holder if your phones are equipped with that. And they just came out with a port that is a fast charging port. So if you had any electronics like your cell phone or a
Everybody
GoPro
can
or anything like that, you could charge it while you're out in the water.
everybody can
yeah,
stay tuned because we are just now getting to where we have some time to get all of the Yak
Yeah.
Power stuff
And I'll be
mounted.
shooting pictures and videos and getting everything rigged up and ready to go so you can see what our setups look like. It'll be
Sweet.
a bright beaming light out in the water.
It even
heck
comes
yeah,
with a full cell phone holder that charges. Like there's definitely some really cool products.
Pretty cool place.
yeah. So, Jerry, what we'll make sure that we introduce Jen and Dustin to you at ICAST, or maybe we're definitely gonna go grab a bite to eat, do dinner one night while we're down there, Jerry, and maybe if you're
Sounds
free or
amazing.
something like that, you and Hunter can grab a bite to eat with us. So,
Yep,
We
absolutely.
yeah, we'll do it. The
so
date.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, guys, I am starving. I know y'all are starving, and I'm gonna go in here, eat, and watch the Predators play. So,
And real quick too, you catch us every Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we got to round out the month of April. Next week we actually have Stephen Coleman coming on. He is a hammer and a guide from South Florida. He actually guides at Headwaters, Okeechobee, but he'll be on with us
Yeah,
next week. You guys know Stephen Coleman.
yeah.
The 18th, we have Bass Pro Tour Fletcher Shylock will be on. And then to round out the month of April, Brandon Card, Elite Series Pro Brandon Card is going to be on. So we got to round out April, we got some killer episodes coming up. So remember, keep in mind every Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make
yeah,
sure you catch us live.
yeah. Let's see. Matt says my Bruins shut out in Nashville last night. Colin, go bees. I'm sorry, Matt. That I mean, I've got aunts and uncles that's Bruins fans, and I just
Matt's the sports fan. You ain't getting past that.
but
You have to realize, Matt Collins a Cardinals fan, so he's used to losing.
Cardinals fans. What
St.
the
Louis
Cardinals?
baseball,
But
baseball.
that don't have nothing to do with
Well, look
losing.
at us. We're Husker fans.
Well,
I
well,
mean, I'm. You should, if you really wanted to go down that route, Norman. You should have said he's a Vanderbilt fan. Then
well,
everybody would have been
that's
like,
true.
"Oh yeah." I mean, if it's not baseball, then what are they doing? But I do want to say because we've got 1,300 people on right now. I do want to tell everybody um, all of our art that we have had done since
Yep.
the beginning of the year. Um, Jen and Dustin have taken care of that, and so we want to tell y'all thank y'all. And if y'all have any kind of art that you need to be done, make sure you like and follow all their Facebook and everything,
It
and
was
reach out to
weird
them.
this week. It was weird this week putting my own face on there. I was like, yes, I'm winning. How it's done.
So, but I didn't want to forget,
Yeah.
because I mean, y'all have helped out so much.
Yep.
I will say this, guys, though, every time that I Venmo Dustin, I do like put something about strippers or something like that.
Stripper
So,
money. Yeah, anything for like stripper money,
Oh, sure.
so, but we did want to say thanks to y'all. I mean, because y'all do killer work,
Yeah.
and y'all have actually made our podcast with being able to advertise is definitely has jumped way up above what we have done. So we wanted to
Yeah.
say thank you and try to get some people to come your way
Awesome.
as well.
Well,
So
and I think your kayak buy sell trade helps you. Maybe you get a few squabblers off
Yeah.
there. Definitely a
yeah,
lot of fish in there. If people want to advertise there, that's a good place
That's
too.
a whole other avenue of people that you can interview too for your
Yeah.
show.
yeah, and
There's kayakers everywhere.
that's one thing that we need to, well, which we'll talk off of, we can talk off a line off of that, but we do
We talk
definitely need
here
to
later.
but guys, we're gonna get off of here. Fat boy is hungry,
Skinny
I
and
am
boys
too.
right here too.
so we're gonna get off here. Thanks for watching. Make sure you go to and check out Facebook on Team Mues. What y'all are on Facebook, Instagram, and
Yeah, you know what? Mine's different. Mine's kayak for life. Kayak the number 4 life Jen Muse. I mean, Facebook's
Yeah.
probably the easiest to find me from there.
Yeah. Just search our names up and
Jennifer
you'll find us.
Muse, Dustin Muse. We do have Team Muse. We're starting to put everything together, but our big pages are Jennifer Muse and then his is Dustin Muse.
Yeah.
So
We'll edit the description of the video and put the link for your social
there
media
you go.
That'll work.
outlets in the description.
I've never changed it. I feel like I'm too lazy to change it now. We really
so
appreciate you guys having us.
Yep.
Yeah.
well, y'all, you
Always
know that
inspiring.
y'all are more than welcome to come on here anytime, and so we thoroughly enjoy it, and especially
Yeah.
getting y'all's point of view and especially being able to hear the what y'all found or what Dustin
Isn't that
found out on
awesome?
the water. That's just crazy.
I'm gonna,
But we're gonna get off here. I got to get
I'll
some
send you guys
sleep.
some pictures to post of these, and you guys can put them on
Yeah.
there. We've got
yeah.
us in there so you can see what we found and how big it looks, and we've got pictures of the excavation. We'll send them to you guys. You guys can post them up.
Oh heck yeah!
Awesome. Awesome.
So, guys,
Live
live
the
the
passion.
passion and see you out on the water.
That rhymes.
Yep. We'll see you on
Thanks,
the
guys.
water.
We love you long time. Bye.